My stepmom hid my family's dark secret. Now everything is in shambles. From the moment Susan married my dad, something about her felt off. It wasn't that she was openly mean, she wasn't. But she had this subtle way of making me feel like I didn't belong in what used to be my home. Compliments laced with hidden jabs, changes to the house that erased any trace of our family before her. It was clear Susan wanted control. But I never imagined how far she'd go until she threw away my childhood photo albums. Those albums were more than pictures. They were my connection to my late mom. She passed away when I was 10, and those photos were my way of keeping her memory alive. When I discovered the albums were gone, Susan's dismissive explanation, they were collecting dust, felt like a gut punch. My dad, ever conflict avoidant, brushed it off, claiming Susan was just trying to streamline the house. But Susan underestimated me. Her flippant suggestion to check the dump sent me on a desperate search. Hours of sifting through garbage led me to the ruined albums, sticky and stained, but still holding fragments of my mom's life. That's when I found it, a photo of my mom with a man I didn't recognize. He was smiling like he belonged, his arm around her shoulder. Something about it felt wrong. I brought the photo to my dad, but his dismissive reaction only deepened my suspicion. Probably just an old coworker, he muttered, avoiding eye contact. It was clear he didn't want to talk about it. When I showed the photo to my brother, Jason, he identified the man as Uncle Rich, our mom's estranged brother. Rich had cut ties with the family after her death, and the name sent a chill down my spine. Why had no one ever mentioned him? I decided to find Uncle Rich. When I finally tracked him down, he dropped a bombshell. The man in the photo wasn't just a coworker. His name was Frank, and he was my mom's first husband. Your dad wasn't happy when he found out about Frank, Uncle Rich revealed. It caused a lot of tension. Your mom wanted to move on, but your dad never let it go. This wasn't just about a photo. It was a secret my dad had been hiding for decades. Armed with this knowledge, I couldn't let it go. I needed answers, and Susan seemed to be at the center of it all. A little snooping in her office uncovered a file labeled Personal, containing financial records and a note referencing a settlement with Frank. Before I could dig deeper, Susan came home, forcing me to retreat. The discovery only fueled my determination. When I confronted Susan, she finally cracked. Your dad didn't want you finding out about Frank, she admitted. I was just cleaning up his mess. But her tone shifted, growing sharp and defensive. Your mom wasn't perfect. She lied, she cheated, and she left a trail of destruction. Maybe it's time you stopped idolizing her. I couldn't hold back. The only destruction here is you, I snapped. You've been manipulating this family since day one. The confrontation left the air thick with tension, but I wasn't done. I needed to hear the truth from my dad. I arranged a family meeting, presenting everything I'd uncovered, the photos, the settlement, the lies. My dad's face went pale as he tried to deflect, but I didn't let him off the hook. Why did you want those albums gone? I demanded. Finally, he broke. Because she was going to leave us, he admitted. The room fell silent as he confessed. My mom had reconnected with Frank years before her death and had been planning to leave my dad. She wanted to take Jason and me with her, but my dad convinced her to stay. The settlement was her way of cutting ties with Frank, but the emotional fallout lingered. The revelation shattered everything I thought I knew about my family. My brother was furious, not just at my dad, but at me for unearthing the truth. Why couldn't you just leave it alone? He yelled. Susan, predictably, painted herself as the victim, accusing me of tearing the family apart. My dad, looking broken, offered no defense. In the weeks that followed, the fallout was immense. Jason stopped speaking to me, needing time to process. My dad and I began tentative conversations, but the wounds were deep. As for Susan, I kept my distance, unable to trust her. The family I thought I knew was gone, replaced by a web of lies and betrayal. Looking back, I don't regret uncovering the truth, but I wish I'd handled it differently. The answers came at a high cost, leaving my family fractured. For now, I'm focusing on moving forward, trying to piece together a life built on honesty, even if it means leaving the past behind.